Good afternoon. My name is Maya Austin, and I did my action research proposal on the effects of Grapheme-Phoneme instruction on kindergarten students' sight word reading ability. Okay, so I just want to start off with my table of contents. We will have our introduction, the problem that I'm addressing, my research question, what I learned from my literature review, my action plan, the outcome that I hope will happen or occur, the issues that I face, and my personal benefits of completing this assignment and what I've learned. So, our introduction. My setting. If COVID-19 cases increase in DeKalb County, Georgia, then my study will take place during a virtual conference on Google Meets. I'm currently meeting with my class every day except for Wednesdays on Google Meets. However, if the COVID-19 cases decrease in DeKalb County, then my study will take place in a kindergarten classroom. I work at Hambrick Elementary, and we are located in Stone Mountain, Georgia, in the DeKalb County School District. My problem that I addressed. I've always noticed that students who experience difficulty when reading have trouble reading sight words. Kindergarten students are expected to learn a substantial amount of sight words, but every year that I've taught kindergarten, I have students who just have trouble learning and memorizing these sight words. And so my problem is that students experience difficulty when reading. They also have trouble reading their sight words. And when we're teaching sight words in the primary grades, our students are struggling with learning these sight words or memorizing these sight words. My question that I am wanting to address in my action research proposal: what are the effects of graphing phoneme instruction on kindergarten students' sight word reading ability? So, for my literature review, I was very surprised to learn that there are two ways to teach sight words. And the first way is whole word storage. And that means just learning or teaching students to automatically read words by sight through word lists or flashcards. So they are learning to read the entire word, and that is just having them memorize those words. The other type of sight word learning or teaching is the storage of graphing phoneme relations, and that is learning the spelling, pronunciation, and meaning of words to store them in memory. So this involves showing students how to segment the phonemes in words and use that to actually read the sight words. And it just blew me away because I have always been taught that sight words cannot be decoded, that they should be learned through memory, and that you had to learn them as the entire word. So it really blew me away conducting this research. So I've also learned that most sight words can be decoded and are regularly spelled. Some researchers, I believe it was Miles et al., they took our Dolch sight word list and our Fry sight word list, and they went down and identified the words that could be decoded. And it turns out that most of the sight words that we teach can be decoded and are regularly spelled. And the ones that are not are just spelling patterns that we have not taught our students yet. And once we teach them, those words will no longer be irregularly spelled. So now I know, and I was pretty shocked by this information. And I also learned that words are best stored in memory through visual phonological connections formed between the spelling and pronunciation of words. This blew me away too, because if we know this, then why do we as teachers continue to teach sight words as the entire word? So that kind of just, all of this information just really blew me away. My action plan. Okay, the first thing I will do is test my participants on the sight words that appear on the Dolch sight word list, and that is the primer sight word list. 12 sessions of interventions will be provided. And out of the 52 words that appear on the primer Dolch sight word list, we are going to target 15 words. Okay, and so participants will segment the phonemes in each words using their fingers, and they will also use Elkonin boxes and counters. So I will write the word on the whiteboard. We will practice segmenting and blending the word, and I will point out the phonemes. And then they will practice segmenting the word using the Elkonin boxes and counters. And then the participants will write each word without without seeing the word. Okay, and we'll see if they can write the word without looking at it after they've done all of those steps. And then they'll be able to check their work, and any misconceptions that they have will be addressed. At the end of the study, participants will be tested on the sight words that appear on the Dolch sight word primer list again. Okay, so we want to compare their scores that they did at the beginning of the study to the end. But we also want to see how many of those target words did they get correct. So of course they'll be tested on those target words at the beginning and end of the study, but we're going to compare those scores as well. How many target words did they know before the study, and how many did they know towards the end? Okay, so we will compare those scores as well as their overall score from the beginning of the study on the primer Dolch sight word list and the end of the study, just to see if those skills that we taught in the intervention transferred over to words that we did not cover during the study. Okay, the issues that arose when I was completing this. It was difficult finding several sources about using Grapheme-Phoneme instruction to teach sight words. So I really had to change my search. I had to start searching for word learning instead of sight words. So that was very important. And it was still kind of hard because most articles, they're focusing on teaching sight words through the entire word. It's not too many articles who are pointing out that sight words can be decoded, which is probably why us teachers believe that sight words cannot be decoded, which they can. The outcome. I am hoping that by completing this action research study, I will discover a more effective way to teach my students how to read sight words. And hopefully teaching them how to read sight words will improve their reading ability. My goal is for all of my students to leave my classroom as emergent readers, and so they can flourish in the later grades. Benefits of completing this action research. By completing this action research proposal, first I've learned the difference between a full-on research project and an action research project. In the other class, we had to write a full-on research paper, and I had to learn to scale myself back on this action research. So that was the first thing I learned. The second thing was I was just really surprised that sight words can be decoded, that most of our sight words can be decoded. And there's research that says that sight words should be taught through grapheme-phoneme relations because they are stored in memory easily. This really blew my mind back, and I'm just really excited to complete this study to see the results and to see if it's the effects, and I'm ready to implement it into the classroom because my students really struggle with learning to read sight words. And here are my references. Thank you so much for listening. Hope you guys have a great day.